my different presentations, I'm going to come back to the different social medias. So may not get to your question right away, but just put them in and I'll get to them when I get to them. Today we're going to talk about the saltfish protocol. A lot of people don't know how to mix these ingredients in the right order. This is a protocol that really resolved my chronic constipation for good. Now, in 2019, I found this protocol online, also on YouTube. It was taught by Josh Mason. Now that has some small little modifications to this. I've done this protocol hundreds of times, over 5 years. I taught it to my family members and also hundreds of people all over the world. A lot of people that can follow my directions, if they were to follow it to a T, they'll be able to get the waste material outside of their body. So chronic constipation, before we dive right into the protocol, you have to understand what this is all about. Chronic constipation is just trash sitting inside your body right now that need to exit. Most people are stuck with a congested colon, full of fecal matter. They do not know how to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. When we're looking at our digestive system, it could be very confusing at first. We don't know what we're looking at. I'm going to break it down to you so it'll be easy to understand. Okay. I'm not a doctor, so none of this professional medical advice, neither is treatment. Food enters your mouth, down the esophagus, into your stomach. Inside your stomach, you have your digestive enzymes start to break down the food. Then food will enter your small intestines next, which is 4.5 meters, followed by the large intestine, another 1.5 meters in length. This is just a very long piece of pipework. If you're taking notes today, just understand what goes inside your mouth, it must also exit as waste material or bowel movements. The ratio is 1:1. It doesn't just disappear out of your body for some reason. It doesn't just get, and most people, they cannot perform this basic function. So over the years, they have an extremely congested colon, okay? They're never getting a proper exit of their number 2. Now, when your elimination is incomplete, residues of old feces can build up in layers on the walls of the colon. As they putrefy, they can cause health problems, pain, and discomfort. Now, many of you can relate to this photo. You're putting a lot of pressure being on that toilet. You're begging and pleading, puffing and puffing, and nothing is coming out. After all that work, only a little pebble comes out. And you're wondering, where did it all go? Well, it's still in your body somewhere. Today I'm going to dive right in to the protocol itself. Then I'm going to talk about liability concerns, because many people, they just push things off until it's too late. These are the ingredients that you need to get. You need apple cider vinegar without any sugar added. You're going to get some limes, lemons, or grapefruit. You got to just choose one, some type of citrus fruit, but choose between limes, lemons, or grapefruit. Personally, grapefruit, I think they're the best tasting, but you have to be very careful with grapefruits. If you're taking medications, sometimes there's a interaction with it. So if you don't know, just stick with limes or lemons. Next, you're going to have a pink salt, fine grained pink salt. And you can also get food grade Epsom salt. You can choose between pink salt or food grade Epsom salt, just keeping it very simple. You probably have these items in your kitchen right now. Now you may not have Epsom salt, so you want to just take a quick look. Food grade Epsom salt. Now a lot of the magnesium sulfate out there, they're not for consumption, they're just for soaking. So you can get this on Amazon or another website. You want to make sure the Epsom salt that you buy is food grade, so you can actually eat it, okay? Now, there's no sodium in magnesium sulfate, so some people, you guys are worried about the sodium content, because I'm going to use a lot more salt than what other people talk about online. And this is the ratio that I found to be the most consistent, most effective for men and women across all different religious backgrounds, whatever, political beliefs, whatever. When it comes to the digestive system, we're categorically the same. Now, apple cider vinegar, use limes, lemons, or grapefruit. Pink salt, food grade Epsom salt, and black coffee. This is prepared separately, it's completely optional. Now, we get to some tools, okay? You want to get yourself a stainless steel thermos and a stainless steel cup. There are a couple of things I want to get at the grocery store later on after this call. Okay, you want to get a bottle of water. It's about 2 liters in volume. Get a metal mesh strainer or strainer. You don't get a single press squeezer for your lemons, limes, or grapefruit to squeeze out the juices. Then you're going to get some measuring spoons. Make sure they say the amount of milliliters on them. You got to be able to measure these things accurately. This is the apple cider vinegar that I use. Pink salt, what I got at Costco. Stainless steel thermos. The stainless steel thermos must have a volume over 1 liter or over a quart. And also, you have a stainless steel cup for your black coffee. What we're trying to do, we're trying to create a laxative effect. The reason why I want you guys to get items that you cannot break is because if you're running back and forth to the bathroom and you knock things over, you may shatter glass or ceramic, whatever items you use. So you want to have items on your table that will not break. Because I don't want you to end up at the hospital and then you're still shitting out of your pants, okay? But you still have glass stuck onto your body because you tripped over yourself. And now the doctor's asking you, why is this person shitting out of his pants and got glass over his body? Then you tell them that you found some YouTube video online. Please don't mention me or my videos, okay? So this is the reason why. These are the items that you get. And after you prepared everything, you only have 3 things on the table, okay? So keeping it very simple, get these ingredients, okay? And over here, I'm going to teach you how to mix it. You guys can also screenshot this. There's a bit of fasting period. So the night before, you're finishing dinner around 7:30 p.m. You're not eating any late night snacks, okay? You can still drink water, but don't eat anything. The next morning, same thing when you first wake up. When you wake up, don't eat anything. You can still have a little bit of liquids. At 11 a.m. on an empty stomach, I want you to make this in the stainless steel thermos. You want to add these items in. You're going to add 1 tablespoon and 2 teaspoons of pink salt or food grade Epsom salt. So that's 25 milliliters total. The tablespoon is 15 ml and a teaspoon was 5, right? So total you have 25. Then you're going to cut and squeeze 3 lemons or limes or 1 grapefruit and filter it through the metal mesh strainer so it doesn't have any pulp or seeds. I want to make sure the solution is smooth as possible. You're going to add yourself a 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar, put it in the stainless steel thermos. Then you're going to add 2.5 cups of hot water. After you do that, I want you to stir for about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Make sure all that salt dissolves evenly, okay? Then you're going to add another cup of room temperature water, kind of bring back down the temperature of the solution. Because when you first start drinking, it may be too hot. Just set it aside, don't drink it right away, but don't let it completely cool. Because I need the solution to be quite warm. It's not going to be burning your tongue, but there's going to be some temperature to it. When you drink this, many people say they actually sweat. Okay, you're going to sweat a little bit when you drink this. Because in thermo, hot expands, cold contracts. Right now, what are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to clean the small and large intestines. It's a very long piece of pipe work. Now this is just a drawing, but this really helps you simplify what the small and large intestines is all about. Food enters your mouth, down the esophagus into your stomach. Digestive enzymes start to break down the food. And over here, the small intestines, 4.5 meters, followed by the large intestines, 1.5 meters in length, and out the back for elimination. That's all it is. We're trying to clean out this whole pipework comprehensively. This is a solution that you drink down. This is not an enema. You may see coffee enemas, water enemas online. That's not that. This is a solution that you prepare and you drink down, okay? So on your table, after you mix everything together, you have the bottled water here, you have the sulfurless solution that you just prepared, and you have black coffee. I want you to do whatever you can to get into a very relaxed state. Get to an extremely relaxed state so you can continue to drink this thing down, because many of you may be very anxious and nervous, and that is not the right state of mind. Now, this is definitely not a race. You can take 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, an hour and a half to drink this. There's no rush. I'm going to check real quick on my Twitter. Okay, over here. I forgot to post this earlier. Just jump in on my comment section if you have any questions. Maybe some of y'all try my protocol before. Get some insights for other people. Alright. Now when you're drinking this is where a lot of people fail because they don't follow my directions. You gotta drink this in a very specific way. Okay. So now the sulfurless is prepared. You prepare these proportions. You put it in the stainless steel thermos. Black coffee, completely optional. Do not add any cream or sugar to this. Over here, bottled water, about 2 liters. This is how you're gonna drink it down, slowly. You're taking a tiny sip of this water, holding it in your mouth. Then you're gonna take a bigger gulp of the sulfurless solution, drink it down. Then you're gonna take a tiny sip of this black coffee. Very, very specific. One more time. The coffee is going to give you a familiar taste, so you can repeat this process over and over again. So everything starts with water first, a tiny, tiny sip. You're just holding it in your mouth. Then you're going to take a slightly bigger gulp of the sulfurless solution, putting it down. Then you're going to take a tiny sip of this coffee, kind of reward yourself. You're going to spin through this again and again and again. But your goal is to finish the sulfurless solution first. You want to put this in your stomach. Very important key. What you want is the sulfurless solution to go down in your digestive tract. Okay, it's going to work its way through the stomach. It's going to work its way through the small intestines, begins to clean out the small intestines. There's so much trash and debris trapped inside the small intestines, microplastics. It's unbelievable. And over time, it's going to push that material in the large intestines. Okay? So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a really good rhythm. But if you feel somehow that this sulfurless solution is all the way up in your esophagus, you're about to throw up, do not drink anything. Just relax. You want to listen to classical music, get into some rhythmic breathing. When you get to rhythmic breathing, you're going to create a relaxed environment so that sulfurless solution can bypass and get into your small intestines. That's how it's going to work. Now, after you finish the sulfurless solution, in an hour, hour and a half, doesn't matter. Just make sure the sulfurless solution is not completely cool. I do not want it to be cool. It has to have some temperature. That's why I put it in a stainless steel thermos to hold the temperature. Okay? Now, after some time, after you drink it, get to a relaxed environment, just deep breathing, you're going to have this feeling to go to the bathroom. And you just go. You're never trying to force anything out of the toilet. It just falls out. Okay? And when you first start doing this, you may see some really dark poop. I'm talking about like charcoal, like the color of my shirt. Because there's so much junk that's been trapped inside your colon now. And the sulfurless solution has that ability to push out all that waste material from both the small and large intestines. Now, taking a quick look at this poop milestones. Solids are going to first come out, then it's going to transition to soft poop. Then it's going to transition to really, really soft poop. And when you are transitioning from really, really soft poop to that torn brown water, lots of it, you still have plenty of water here. I want you to take this water into the bathroom safely and start drinking this water to add more water pressure to flush out even more debris from the small and large intestines comprehensively, which will produce a laxative effect. We call it a diarrhea and a tsunami. You guys understand? Most people, when I tell this, they don't believe me. Let me tell you, if they follow my directions, many of them will be successful their first time with the Sulfless protocol. They will spew out so much toxins from their behind. They may spew out a couple pounds of waste material. They may get back on that scale later after the Sulfless solution and it become lighter because all that waste material was trapped inside the large intestine and now it's being released out of their behind. Now, as we're drinking this water, just figuring out what just happened. Today, the sulfurous solution pushed out all the waste material from the small and large intestines. Now you're adding that water pressure. Even the sulfurous that you drank earlier, it's already in the toilet. Okay? Now you're just adding more water on top. You're taking this opportunity to flush out more debris from the small and large intestines comprehensively. And it's a wonderful feeling if you do this right, okay? If you really pace yourself, you don't try to force things to make things happen. You know, they say that detachment is actually important for this. If you say that I want to achieve this laxative effect and you're very, very stressed out, not only stressed out, maybe you're looking at the testimonials of other people and you're like, I want to be like them. I want to be like them. Now, there are a lot of different testimonials on my site, okay? And you're trying to rush through the selfless protocol, and now you're throwing everything up. So please don't do that, okay? You want to exercise caution. I'm going to refresh my social media real quick. So I'm not sure. I want to make sure my streams are actually working. So I'm streaming, but taking a quick look. Somebody gave me a reaction. Who gave me a reaction? Oh, that's my brother. Yeah, my brother is also on this detox protocol. Very, very grateful. Because when it comes to your digestive health, you can't wait until you have problems. You can't wait. Most people, they just wait until things are so bad. Okay. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm actually streaming right now. If I am, fantastic. But if I'm not, because right now it doesn't seem like any of my stuff is working. Okay, it does seem to be working. Alright. Let's come back to the slides. You need to fix chronic constipation. Do not put it off. Don't think of it as some type of a joke. Okay? And when you're also using the bathroom, I want you guys to put a little stool under your feet. to create more of a squatting position. This will definitely help you get more of a squatting position to help that number 2 exit out of your body. A lot of people don't know that we are actually meant to use the bathroom in a squatting position. We're not supposed to be sitting at this 90 degree. This modern toilet has caused so much pain, discomfort for so many people all around the world. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you go to different parts of the world, in Asia, even in the Middle East, many places they still have squat toilets. And if you were to ever use them, you'll see there's a big difference. Your waste material just goes right out of the body very easily without much effort. So you want to consider getting this squatty potty, or just make one yourself, or buy a comfortable stool. And some people, they may even install a squat toilet inside their own home. That's what I recommend if you have the opportunity to do so. So taking a quick look. After you do the soft flush protocol, you want to recoat back up your small and large intestines with some probiotics. And that's going to help renew your digestive capability. Okay? Now, you don't have to use these probiotics if you don't want to. You can buy other probiotics. So I'm going to just check. I may just redo my stream a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna just push forward. Alright. Alright. Today, I want you guys to also have a healthy dose of fear, practical pessimism, and have a mindset of liabilities concerns at all times. Because most people, they don't worry about this problem until the conditions or symptoms are way severe. They did not catch constipation early enough. Some people, they're 1 to 2 days constipated, and they're like, it's no big deal. And that 1 to 2 days becomes 2 to 3 days. Then it becomes 3 to 4 days. And before you know it, you're a whole week into your chronic constipation. There are many people out there in the world that are so chronically constipated, they don't go for sometimes a whole week, a week and a half, 2 weeks at a time. But they're still eating food, right? So you're wondering, where did all that waste material go? Because it's not magic, it has to go somewhere. Or it's just getting trapped somewhere in your body. As we discussed before, we need to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. I don't really care how you do it, but you gotta find a way that you're familiar with and you can go back to all the time. Detoxification is not something that you just do once every 6 months. I detox every single week. I'm doing some type of detox every single week. Okay? It is that consistent. I don't let a week pass without me doing something. Last week, I did the liver cleanse. This week, I'm doing the soft flush protocol. But throughout the week, I'm doing kidney detox. Most people around my age do not look like me. And you can say, well, maybe you got genetics on your side. And that's another false belief. When my father was around my age, he was already chronically a lot of chronic problems. I'm talking about diabetes, high cholesterol, heart issues. He had high blood pressure. Very, very early on, in his late 30s, he had them. And it just got progressively worse. Now, I basically did not have to go through any of it, but you need to have some liabilities concerns in the back of your head. If you don't fix this early, this could happen to you. you may experience a toxic megacolon. What is a toxic megacolon? This stuff is life-threatening. Complication, inflammatory bowel diseases. They can be very painful and cause permanent damage to the large and small intestines. Now, IBDs, they include ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, infections caused by this other colitis. Toxic megacolon is characterized by swelling and dilation of large intestine due to the inflammation and accumulation of large amount of gas. I can guarantee you this is more than gas. I did not go to medical school. I'm just saying, you guys got to look this up for yourself. Maybe you go talk to some gastro doctors that specialize in this area. The reason why people are developing a toxic megacolon and a large colon, a dilated colon, simply the waste material is not exiting out of the body, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. If you take a quick look at this, you can see this descending part of the colon has become so enlarged and nothing is going out. So where does it go? It just gets bigger and bigger. Very problematic. It got to a point where the doctors had to remove the whole colon. Now you may be wondering, what do they do after they've removed the whole colon? Because how does the person poop? Well, they got so many different procedures lined up for you. I'm going to share with some of you right now what those are. One, you may experience or go through something called a left hemicolectomy. That's to say the descending portion of your colon is messed up, okay? Like this guy over here, the descending portion of the colon. So the doctor had to remove it completely. And then they do something kind of like plug and play with USB devices. They start to reattach the remaining section. So this section is reconnected to the tail end of your large intestines. So the feces formation can continue in this manner. Over here, let's just say this part of the colon is completely diseased. Okay. Over here, this person had a disease area in the very tail end of their colon, so they remove it. But you may be wondering, well, what happens now to the waste material? How does it make it from here to here? Well, this is something called colostomy. They create a hole, colostoma, in the abdominal wall, which will allow the waste to leave the body. If you go to the ICU, you'll find many individuals that have this. And this is for life. You're going to have to deal with this bag for the rest of your life. Okay? Over here, let's just say the ascending portion of the colon is diseased, so the doctors should remove it. Now, the section over here, this is where it connects to your small intestines, and over here, that's your appendix. A lot of people, they have the removal of the appendix. That's where it is. A lot of people don't know. Now, if this part is completely removed, once again, more plug and play. They just reattach the tail portion of your small intestine, reattach it to this part right here. Okay, so there's a lot of plug and play in these different procedures, and you want to know what those are so you can avoid them. And recognizing the signs of chronic constipation early, so you can say, okay, if I'm only 1 to 2 days chronically constipated, it's a very big problem. I need to fix it right away. I can't let this thing sit around. Now, this is another very big major surgery. This is called ileoanal anastomosis. So after they remove the whole colon, you may be wondering, well, what does this person do next? Because there's no more colon, okay? Well, they're going to use the remaining portion of your small intestines to create a pouch around the anus. This allows you to expel waste normally, although you'll likely have several watery bowel movements daily. One of the functions of the large intestines is to draw out water from the fecal formation, and now you may even lose the sensation of you going to the bathroom. It just falls out of you. Many people, when they get to a certain age, they have adult diapers that they wear for the rest of their life. It's very, very problematic. And looking at this market, this chronic constipation market, I can tell it's only getting worse all over the world. And chronic constipation, sometimes people think this is only for people that are 60 and above. No, This can happen in your 50s, happen in your 40s, happen in your 30s, happen in your 20s. And I think that adult diapers, more and more people are buying them. That's how bad it is. How do I know this market is tremendously big? There's something called keyword search volume. There are people keying in specific keywords in Google, in Bing, Yahoo, whatever. And there's a search volume. Now, constipation as a keyword has been growing for the past 25 years plus. It has never contracted. This is a recession-proof business. Doesn't matter what the stock market is doing, doesn't matter what the real estate is doing, cryptos, anything. Everybody is having chronic constipation all over the world. People are searching for this keyword in the English language, in Spanish, Russian, Tajik, Arabic, French. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, people are keying this in. So that's how I know these problems are going to become more and more common. Toxic megacolon, different surgeries, the hemicolectomies, the colostomies, the ilioanal anastomosis. So recognizing these major operations people have to do. And if you were to fix chronic constipation, I'm not saying it's going to be 100%, but you will be able to avoid this, in a major way. And that's what we want to do, right? So I'm going to spin through my social media real quick, make sure there aren't any questions I can help answer. Okay. So over here, I'm also broadcasting on my Twitter. Okay, I'll check on that later. Alright, what other problems could you possibly have if you have chronic constipation? Now, we talked about a megacolon. Now, a colon can also get displaced. This is very problematic. This lady was only 23 years old, suffering from chronic constipation, discovers her colon severely displaced. Looking at your colon, the large intestine, it has this particular shape if it's normal. Ascending, transverse, and descending, okay? That's what a healthy, normal colon should look like. A displaced colon is kind of like a colon that has distorted its shape. Over here, the scan, you can see, it goes up and it loops back down, kind of like got a kink in the hose, and then it loops back up again. This area is around her lungs. If she has trouble breathing, it's because her colon has displaced to such a point where it is pushing up against her other organs. Finally makes its way back down here, okay? But when she's standing up, all this waste material is fighting against gravity, just trying to get to this point. I'm not sure what the doctors have to do to fix her. Extremely problematic. Over here, this is also becoming more and more common, something called diverticulitis. I want you guys to look these up. I may be reading these different texts from medical websites, but it doesn't mean I agree with everything. I just want to share with you what it's all about. What are the conditions? Pay attention to these symptoms. I'm going to discuss many gastro diseases across the board. So diverticulitis is a gastro disease. It occurs when pouches called diverticula start to form in the GI tract and become inflamed and infected. This condition commonly occurs in the Western population and can be seen in 10% of people over the age of 40 to 50% of people over 60. The rate of this disease typically increases with age. Scientists believe that this condition is due to not eating enough fibers. Not eating enough fiber leads to constipation, which puts extra pressure on the colon walls, and this causes diverticula or bulges to form the weak areas of the colon. The risk factors for this diverticulitis may include age over 40, male, overweight, eating a low-fiber diet, eating higher fat and red meat, not enough exercise, taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like aspirin, ibuprofen, steroids, and opioids, and smoking. Moreover, the signs and symptoms of this condition include pain, tenderness in the left lower side of the abdomen, nausea, vomiting, chills, cramps in the lower abdomen, constipation or diarrhea, and rectal bleeding. They're saying people over 50% of people over 60 have this to some degree. Now we're looking at the descending part of the colon, these bulges that may form as a result of some type of inflammation. Now a lot of doctors, they say that, oh, all you gotta do is eat more fiber. The reason why I have chronic constipation, because you're not eating enough fiber. Now, I don't particularly agree with that, because if you're chronically constipated and you cannot go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, eating more fiber will only add to more of your misery. You're eating more fiber on top of chronic constipation, which is going to pack in more material. And if you can resolve it, you're developing a megacolon. You guys see what I'm coming from with this? What else can you have when you are chronically constipated? You may get something called ulcerative colitis. This is a chronic condition that happens when you have inflammation in your colon. Most people usually experience periods of symptom flare-ups, followed by periods of remission without symptoms. Signs and symptoms include diarrhea, bloody stools, abdominal cramping, and weight loss. Treatments include medications and surgery. Now, this is my take. For those people that are taking a lot of antibiotics, they are messing up their microbiome. You do need probiotics in your system. Kind of like provides protective layer and also helps digestion. When you lose that protective layer because people are taking way too many antibiotics, this may be a problem where it's going to have that ulcerative surface in your colon. Now look at these signs and symptoms. Diarrhea, bloody stools, abdominal cramping. Very, very similar to diverticulitis, right? Now when you go to the doctors, what do they tell you to do? They tell you, oh, you've got to take some corticosteroids, immunosuppressants, biologics. What these medications do, they suppress the immune system. So you really don't know what's going on anymore after that, because you have symptom flare-ups and now you're taking corticosteroids which suppress the immune response. So temporarily, you're like, well, I'm not having any symptoms, but did that really fix the root of the problem? You haven't found the root of the problem at all. Over here, you may develop something called Crohn's disease, another form IBD. This condition occurs when there's inflammation in the small intestine and colon. The main symptoms of Crohn's disease are diarrhea, stomach aches or cramps, blood in the stool, tiredness or fatigue, and weight loss. It is thought to believe Crohn's disease is caused due to genes, a problem in the immune system, smoking, a previous stomach bug, and an abnormal balance of gut bacteria. The risk factors for this condition include family history, smoking, certain medications like antibiotics, birth control pill, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin, ibuprofen, high-fat diet. Give me 1 second here. Right. So now you have inflammation not just in the colon, but also in your small and large intestines. Once again, if you take a quick look at these symptoms, very similar to ulcerative colitis, very similar to diverticulitis. Now, I'm going to give you more practical pessimism. There are many people out there in the world, they're dealing with a rectal prolapse. What's a prolapse? Prolapse simply when your rectum is flipping inside out. It turns inside out. Now, oftentimes people are straining on the toilet. That excessive straining is going to cause a lot of pressure on the rectum. But why are they stressing themselves on the toilet? Because they're chronically constipated. They have this feel that is almost there. You know, constipation is so problematic because sometimes you do have that feel like, okay, it's almost there. I just need to push a little bit harder. Okay, maybe I twist my stomach, maybe I do some yoga massage. Okay, maybe I do some pressure points. I tried all that stuff in the past. None of that stuff worked. So rectal prolapse, very, very possible for y'all. Keep putting off your chronic constipation. Now, this is definitely a lot more severe. You may even end up with anal abscess and fistulas. Okay, so you have an affected cavity filled with pus near the anus or rectum. Just having too much pressure around here that could cause infections. What else could you have? Anal fissures. A fissure is a breakage or crack or splitting. Could be very, very painful, very uncomfortable. Now, when you go to the doctors and you ask them about your rectal prolapse, your anal fissures, you tell them what is the root cause to all this. They got a lot of detours for you. They may say things like, while several factors are thought to be linked to rectal prolapse, there is no clear-cut cause. An estimated 30% to 67% of patients with chronic constipation, infrequent stools to severe straining, and an additional 15% have diarrhea. Wouldn't that be a pretty clear-cut cause? In the past, this condition was soon to be linked to giving birth multiple times by vaginal delivery. However, as many as 35% of patients with rectal prolapse never gave birth, and it can occur in men. There might be some genetic predisposition to this condition. They always say things like that, a genetic predisposition to this condition. In other words, some patients are more prone, based on their genes, to develop this condition, while others don't. Now, just because you might find different texts like this from different medical websites, very reputable websites, doesn't mean you have to agree with them. When they say things like genetic predisposition, look, they already told you right here, 30% to 67% of patients have chronic constipation. Why didn't you fix chronic constipation? And those of y'all putting off chronic constipation like it's no big deal, eventually this is what you're going to develop. I'm not even a prophet. Or even hemorrhoids. See, in my 30s, I was developing hemorrhoids. Very, very embarrassing because I was at the pharmacy, go buying that preparation H. And you don't want to be that guy that goes by preparation H. You know what I'm saying? Because people are looking at what you're buying, and there's only one reason you will buy preparation H. Okay. And what are hemorrhoids? So these are hemorrhoids or piles. These are swollen veins inside your rectum or outside of your anus, which can cause pain, anal itching, and rectal bleeding. Over here, hemorrhoids can cause rectal bleeding. Okay, anal fissures cause rectal bleeding. Anal abscesses, fistulas, rectal bleeding. Rectal prolapse, rectal bleeding. Okay, Crohn's disease, rectal bleeding. Ulcerative colitis, rectal bleeding. Diverticulitis, rectal bleeding. You can see all these conditions are so similar, one next. And when you have these problems on the surface area, they may refer you to a proctologist. Okay. Proctologists, these are specialized medical doctors. They're mostly called colorectal surgeons. And they specialize in this area right here, right around your behind, right around your bottom. And they're going to examine you. They're ready for you. Okay. I don't even know how many latex gloves they go through every single day. This is a growing business. They make a lot of money every single year. I'm talking about 300,000 to half a mil, easy. Okay, and many people go see them because they're having all these problems with that rectal prolapse, having problems, anal fissures, fistulas, hemorrhoids. So they go see a guy like this. They go see themselves a bottom whisperer, right? And they tell you, oh, what we have here, you got these internal, external hemorrhoids. Maybe you got some anal fissures that we're going to come in and fix. I'm going to somehow tuck back in your rectal prolapse. So they fix that. And you think you're okay. You're not okay. Because the problem is so upstream. If you're still chronically constipated upstream, you're going to develop new hemorrhoids. You're going to develop new abscesses, prolapse, or splittings and cracks and anal fissures. That's what's going to happen. And I want to give you guys a healthy dose of practical pessimism. The medical industrial complex, they like to go and make you go on detours. Okay? So let's just say initially you're going to use those preparation H. Okay? It's not helping. It may help some of these symptoms subside, but you haven't dealt with the root of the problem. So it gets worse and worse and worse. Then you go see this guy. He does some procedure back there. There are different procedures for hemorrhoids, so he performs them. But the hemorrhoids come back. You still had the same symptoms. So you go see, and they do further scans, and they find that, well, you have something called diverculitis. Okay, you're getting all these things in the descending portion of your colon. Becomes more problematic. So what do? Well, we're gonna remove a portion of your colon and reattach it. And if we can't do that, we're gonna remove it and give you a colostomy bag. So you gotta reverse, think about this in reverse, kind of break down the problem and think about what could happen if I don't treat this early. Like, me, I don't, right now I'm doing a kidney detox, but I did not wait until the doctors tell me that you have kidney problems. I assume I have kidney problems. I can always improve the conditions of my internal organs right now. I don't have to wait until somebody tells me I have a problem. Since last year, I started doing liver cleanses. There are a lot of different gallstones that could be trapping your gallbladder right now. Now, did a doctor tell me that? No. I started doing protocols that can improve the conditions of my internal organs way before the doctors tell me, hey, you need to address this. Most of you, the problem is that you're too relaxed. Okay? You think that you have this backing of your insurance. You think that you have, oh, the doctor can come and fix me. So I want to go through my social media, making sure there aren't any questions. Once they start to cut you up, it's very likely you're going to get worse and worse, okay? You're going to have more problems and that they can't resolve, and they have more procedures or medications for you. So now you're very, very much in the system, okay? Your whole week of schedule, it is completely filled up with doctor visits, specialist visits, and it's just depressing if you think about it, because you go into these doctor's offices, you're surrounded by other people who are also sick, okay? And that's kind of like your routine. You're always around sick people. You're sick yourself. You're surrounding yourself with other sick people. And many people, that's kind of like their daily routine. So that's why I want you guys to recognize the problems early so you can fix it early. If you don't, you're going to go down this path where you're going to end up on some Facebook page or Facebook group where it's only about chronic constipation. I'm going to read some of these guys. These are just anonymous members, and I don't care what they think before posting this because their problem is not unique, okay? You're not that special. Hurry up. Anonymous member says, sorry to be crude, but there's a big lump of poop that won't come out. What do I do? Anyone, any idea? Suffer from constipation now and again. Especially when I have been eating crap for the past couple of weeks. I've been constipated. Want to go to the toilet, nothing is coming out. Or if it does, it's hard. Also been bloated, especially upper tummy, unlike a trap when feeling plus since yesterday, not really got an appetite. Tried Ducales, never really worked. Eating more healthy and now trying lactulose since Tuesday, but feel like it's just making me fart. Also to mention, having had some stress and anxiety with family members, been in hospital. What can I do to get my tummy back to normal? Thanks. Consultant has put me on perchloropride and glycerol suppositories. Any reviews? Hi everyone, had a horrible couple days. A lot of wet would come out, and I couldn't push out what was behind, but after many attempts, making me sore, I finally did go. What I wanted to ask is, do you ever feel queasy to your tummy because of constipation or bowel problems? Sometimes I think it's all the worry and stress that constipation causes. Now I'm going to give you another protocol. You guys want to look into something called colon hydrotherapy. I haven't even done this myself, but this may be something you need to go to do as soon as possible because you're so congested right now in the colon. So you're laying down here on this apparatus. On this apparatus, the colon hydrotherapist, they're going to put in hot water through your back end to help soften up the waste material trapped inside your colon right now. Now, a lot of people, they may have to go through this every single day for a whole week just to get back to normal. Because right now their colon is so impacted, they have no way of getting it out. Now, the limitations of a colon hydrotherapy is that it only cleans out the colon, your large intestine. It doesn't clean out the small intestine. So pay attention to that. So there are many people that are asking how this works. This is how it works. And the videos online, just go look them up on YouTube, TikTok, and they can show you the waste material that is coming out of their back or of their behind. And sometimes it's more than just waste material. It's other organisms, which I'll discuss in a little bit. Now, once again, I have not even done this myself, so you guys got to do your own research and make sure you're working with somebody experienced. If you're dealing with somebody inexperienced or putting in this water pressure too quick, you may get a perforation in your colon, and now your poop is going outside of your digestive tract, and that's how you can get a sepsis shock, and you may end up at the ER. There is a risk if you do any type of medical procedure. Doesn't matter if it's surgery, doesn't matter if it's colon hydrotherapy, doesn't matter if it's a sulfur solution that you drink down. But I'll also tell you something. There is a risk if you do absolutely nothing. And that's what most of you guys are doing. You're pushing things off. You think that this is not important. So you keep on putting it off, until things are so severe, you have to go through those surgeries. Alright, over here, this is very rare, but it does happen. Has anyone vomited fecal matter because it couldn't go down? What did you need to do about it? Somebody says, please go to the ER, this is dangerous. So in medical texts, they call this feculent vomiting. There is a mechanical intestinal obstruction. And from there, the waste material is not going out, right? The digestive system is just a very long piece of pipework. You have trash that is encrusted in the large intestines. It's not going out. Somebody may be developing a megacolon already. Now, where does the waste material go? Well, it's going to work its way backwards. So let's just say this colon is completely blocked off. Now, you're still eating, right? You're still getting hungry. Eventually, this part becomes waste material, and it's going to work its way back up, and now all that poop is going to be in your stomach, reverse peristalsis, you're going to throw up your own feces. That's what happens. That's what feculent vomiting is all about. Now, according to this paper, this Los Angeles County Harbor General Hospital, in a 2-year period, they had 23 cases of this. 23. Now, United States, we are dealing with about 6,000 hospitals, okay? 6,000 hospitals, let's just say each year you have 10 cases. So each year you get about 60,000 people in the United States. They're going to the hospital because of feculent vomiting. Absolutely disgusting, but it does happen. I'm just saying. Practical pessimism. Over here, let's just read some more. What is the longest you've gone with no poop? Somebody says 4 weeks was hell. I was throwing up feces. Unblock myself with suppositories eventually. Horrendous. Think about it. If you are not having predictable bowel movements and now you're throwing up your own feces. I'm so tired of this. This morning I was driving, all of a sudden it hits me. I didn't make it to the bathroom. All over my shorts and car seat. I'm so incredibly exhausted from this. I'm to the point of wearing adult diapers. There was a lot of mucus. This is normal. No, it's not normal. Okay? Bowel movements should be predictable. They should just come out normally by themselves. And you can time it. If you do certain things, kind of like brushing your teeth, it's an important KPI you do every single day. You have important KPIs when you go to brush your teeth, you shower, you go to work, KPIs as you perform. When it comes to your digestive health, it's every single day. You must have a bowel movement. If you're eating twice a day, you should be going twice a day. That's how it should work. I've been reading around and it seems that lenses emit integrity and most of those eventually stop working. Has anyone noticed that or have another idea? Can't believe what we're left to do to be comfortable. Recognizing the road ahead is very difficult. After you go through all the OTCs, the Ducalox, the Miralax, they stop working. Then you go to see your specialist doctors. They're going to give you prescription strength, laxatives. And some people, they might find some relief in the short term. But many people find out they stop working. I'm going to talk about that. That's why chronic constipation as a keyword only goes up. I'm so backed up, my stomach is very bloated. Looks and feel I'm 9 months pregnant. This is affecting my quality of life, getting depressed. I try so many things and still not able to clean out. It does not get any better, guys. We gotta fix this. Over here, I'm impacted. All home remedies, OTC laxatives, enemas, dietary changes, additions, nutritional oils, quit working last month all of a sudden. The ER could reach it, and their enemas didn't work. The highest dosage of lenses does nothing. And the Miralax colonoscopy prep is just giving me overflow diarrhea. Small bits are coming off the impaction, probably from the hospital enemas that got Saturdays. What else can I do? I feel like the impaction is just way too big to get out, and it seems like nothing is softening enough. What a nightmare. This is a living nightmare. You know you're chronically constipated. You know the waste material should go outside of your body. Many of you, you're watching my videos. Many of you are moms, right? So if you're a little baby, you're constipated 1 day, wouldn't you be worried? 2 days chronically constipated, wouldn't you be worried? But for some reason, as adults, we don't carry the same mentality. We think that, oh, it's no big deal. I can go a couple days without going to the bathroom. Nope. Over here, let's read from this member. Hello, I've been struggling with chronic constipation for a couple years now, but it's only gotten worse over the last 6 months or so. I've been prescribed Trulance and lenses, highest doses for both, and neither of these medications are working well for me at this point. I can pass a little bit of stool, but not much, so I'm constantly extremely backed up. I have to spend about half my waking hours lying down because I'm so bloated and nauseous and often in pain. As far as OTC laxatives, nothing really works there either. Dulcolax, enema suppositories, magnesium citrate, nothing works. I was supposed to have a colonoscopy prep today. But couldn't keep the bowel prep down. The procedure had been rescheduled for a month from now, and one of the nurses at my GI office prescribed a pill-based cleanse. The pill is called Sutab, and I was warned ahead of time that patients often have trouble completely emptying their bowels with this pill. So given my struggles, I am doubtful that this will actually work for me. Here's my question. Has anyone here gone to the point where nothing works? Meds or OTC laxatives, and had to have some sort of in-office medical procedure done? I'm so sick and so miserable. What about professional colonics? I'm not even sure how those work. If anyone has any advice or experience with this, I'd be very grateful if you could share them with me on what you ended up doing and what the outcome was like. Thank you. So I'm going to spin through my social medias real quick. Yeah, you're on my different social media. This is very interesting. I'm taking a little break. As you can see from these different testimonials, people are crying out for help. They know they've already gone down that path. They've already seen a specialist. They've tried prescription strength, laxatives. Nothing works. That's what they're saying. So this is the reason why I tell you guys you need to fix this problem early. Your digestive system is very similar to your pipes in the house. If your garbage disposal is broken, you need to fix it right away. You gotta fix it yourself or get someone to fix it for you. All this waste material, if it's not going outside, it will start to invade your house, all that rotting food. Same thing, Over here, this is your house. Water in and water out. Okay. Now, as some people, they got a clogged toilet. Maybe a child, toddler, threw in their favorite action heroes down the toilet, try to flush it down. But you don't know any better. You go to use the bathroom. Now, that poop waste material is overflowing out of the toilet. And that could be an analogy for feculent vomiting. All I'm saying is, waste material, they gotta go through this pipe and go to the sanitary store. If it's not doing that, you're gonna have problems. Same thing with your physical body. Your body, there's definitely a mechanical component to this. You've been taught to look at your body as a collection of symptoms. But once you understand the mechanical aspect of your physical body, you're going to have a much easier time fixing it. Okay? What else do I want to talk about? Just very quickly, I'm going to spin through different internal parasites because this is often overlooked. Parasites are everywhere, guys. And doctors don't really look into this at all. Now, most people think that this is a third world problem. I can guarantee you, if you're in a first world country, you could be living in Switzerland, you could be living in the United States, Canada, I don't care. They're parasites. People can see parasites in their whole food salmon, in their Costco salmon. There are many different organisms, different parasites all over the world. Liver flukes, pinworms, tapeworms, roundworms. I'm going to go through some very basic parasites. To understand your parasites, you got to learn their life cycle. Parasites know how to do two things. They know how to survive and replicate. Now they're going to hatch in water, and once they hatch in water, they're going to attack intermediary host, okay, such as a snail. From there, they're going to extract the nutrients from the snail and grow to a certain size. After they grow to a certain size, they're going to exit out of the snail and end up on some vegetation. Once they end up on some vegetation, the cow or the sheep that come over, they eat this vegetation, and that's how the liver fluke gets into your body. Extremely problematic if you're ranching, if you're raising cattle and sheep in Canada, Idaho, Australia, I don't care where you are. They have to deal with this every single year. Treatment of liver fluke in cattle and sheep, they have to take medications because they're finding, their livestock's getting sick. They're losing hair, they have no appetite, getting weaker and weaker. Parasites, they're very good at extracting resources out of your body. Many people are eating undercooked meats, right? Undercooked meats or even rare steaks. These are steak tartars. This is the French version, Korean version. And when you're eating raw meats or even raw liver, that's how liver flukes can get into your body. Your liver is a filter, but it's also a storage of vitamins and minerals. So parasites, they love to attack this organ to extract the nutrients away from it. And they're going to use this organ to survive and replicate. Many different parasites in the world, many of them, they are in intestinal products. We eat a lot of intestinal products in Asia. Now, I don't eat them anymore, but I used to. Over here, I used to eat a lot of sushi, sashimi. I don't do that anymore. Or hot pot. I don't do that anymore. Because you may have tapeworms. There's a lot of tapeworms in pork, in beef, and also in fish. Okay? So, let's just say we have a small little tapeworm, okay, hatches in water. Crustacean eats it. Crustaceans gets eaten by a smaller fish. And then this fish gets eaten by a bigger fish. This whole time, this parasite continues to survive and replicate. And then you're eating raw salmon. That's how that tapeworm gets into your body. Doesn't matter if it comes from pork, come from beef, come from fish. This is what they look like. All right. Tapeworms. This is the rostellum. This is where they hook onto your small and large intestines. They extract your nutrients from you. And over here, these are the suckers. That gives them a very firm foothold on the surface of your skin, so they're not going anywhere. Over here, this is your anatomy. This is the head, rostellum, and over here, this is the reproductive system. These are called progonids. Progonids, each one of these can hold 100,000 eggs. And this is a hermaphrodite, so they can reproduce all by themselves within these progonids. If you have a tapeworm that has 1,000 of these progonids, and each one of them can produce 100,000 eggs, if you do the simple math, we're looking at 100 million eggs. Now, I think this could be a hidden root cause to many people's chronic constipation, because they've already seen the doctors, they've seen this, that, and the third, still not working right. What if they have this many roundworms, or this tapeworms trapped inside of them? Like this guy's in Thailand, they pulled out a tapeworm that is 59 feet, roughly 18 meters. How long is 18 meters? Well, if you look at basketball, from that floor to the basketball rim, it's roughly 3 meters. So you're talking about 18 meters is 6 of these. 18 divided by 3 is 6, right? So the height of 6 NBA basketball hoops stacked on one top of another, that was the length of that one parasite. Look at that big ass jar, all right? So there's this extra material that is trapped inside the large intestines right now, which is going to make it very hard for the waste material to exit. Over here, they're also in your pets. This is a tapeworm trapped inside of a cat, and the owner is trying to pull it out. Over here, the American bully has a lot of roundworms, and this one, the vet is trying to pull out some type of a parasite out of the nasal cavity. This is very likely a botfly, all right? So, different risks. Your animals, if you're very close with your pets, this is a big risk, because you have no idea what your dog's been doing all day, your cat, right? They're full of parasites. Next, you have contaminated water if you're traveling abroad. Very, very big risk. Over here, the raw meats, and even raw vegetation, raw watercress, causing problems. So over here, this is the roundworm, very common in pets. Dogs, cats, rabbits. I know some people, they even raise rabbits as pets. Ducks. People are raising ducks. Now, over here, this is somebody, they had to extract all their roundworms out of their colon. This is not an animal. This is a human colon. And the doctors found some scans, and they're like, you have way too many parasites. So they had to pull them all out. Just imagine if you had this many roundworms in you. They look like spaghetti. Right? Each roundworm can grow right around a foot long. Okay? And if you have this many roundworms, of course you're going to have trouble having bowel movements. Right? Because it's all stuck. And the parasites, they're not leaving. They're like, we're going to continue to extract nutrients from you. Over here, this is somebody's liver, and the doctors, they had to pull out all these roundworms out of the liver. So this is the uncomfortable stuff most people don't like to talk about. When we need to look at chronic constipation, very, very problematic. All right, these are other videos you guys can look online. Ascaris, these are roundworms over here. Okay, removing intestinal roundworms and parasites from bodybuilders' colon in New York, very rare, but it does happen, and I think it's a lot more common than people think. But it's often overlooked. Okay. So I'm going to go through some herbs. So I want you guys to look into different herbs that you guys can get. So clove bud, all right, wormwood, sometimes they're in tincture form, membezidol, okay, black walnut hull, wormwood combination for your pets, panicure C, you want to get the right size for them, and for your cats. Frontline, you got to work with your vets. This is not professional medical advice. Albendazole, this is prescription strength. This is also prescription strength. There are many different medications on the market. OTC, prescription, herbal blends. You gotta find them and work with them, work with your doctor. But I don't recommend you jumping into this protocol right away without first learning how to clean out the small and large intestines using the soft flush protocol. Once you have that confidence doing this several times, then you think about cleaning out the small and large intestines and getting rid of the internal parasites. Many people, they jump into this too quick. Well, if you can't go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, you're going to have more problems, right? Because if you take the parasite medications, not only are you going to have chronic constipation, now you're going to have a whole bunch of dead parasites sitting inside of you. You're going to be worse off. You want to do your detox in stages. Okay, and I can coach you guys through that in my one-on-one coaching. Over here, I want to share with you a program that you can get today. Okay, so this is my program people been buying for the last couple of years. If people will follow these set of directions, they'll be able to have that laxative effect to clean their small and large intestines combined. I teach you guys exactly how to do this proper. And you guys can see the different testimonials in English and also in Chinese, because I teach us in both languages. So people all over the world have tried this, got a lot of success with it. So I want you guys to consider getting this program, but also go on my Gumroad. I have other items for you to get, depending on where you are in your detox journey. Maybe you just want to learn more about internal parasites, or you want to learn more about your liver health, how you can improve it. I have a whole PDF for that. I have another PDF specifically just about the digestive system, how you can clean it out, okay? Of course, I got my one-on-one coaching. You guys can get on a call with me. I want to learn more about where you're coming from, and I can craft a plan just right for you to recover your digestive health. So if that's of interest to you, just hit me up in the comments below, and also hit me on my programs, get my programs. You can work with me one-on-one. Send me a DM on my Instagram. That's what I have for you guys. I want to thank you for all joining on this call, and look to hear from you, and I'll talk to you soon.